Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this special Saturday because it is opening day of the turkey season. That's right, in Tennessee. Yes, listen to that.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Shelby's doing a much better job than Ron Wong trying to over there. Shelby has become our expert on turkey hunting. So we brought in John Gordon in here. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Ron.
You're going to share the
Good
studio.
morning.
Show it with Ron and John, or John and Ron.
It's been a while.
Which
since
one
Ron
would you
and I
rather
have
have?
been on
That?
together.
John and Ron show.
The John and Ron
Along
show
with
would be good.
Larry
Jay-
Ray.
Yeah,
Jay
that's
Marr.
right. Well, John and Ron seem like they go together here, but Ron is on the road at the Cornfield Fishing Gear Demo Days at Moore's Resort and Marina on Kentucky Lake, and Ron is going to be got a couple of special guests on the show today, and then of course we've got some other things lined up. It's always good to have John Gordon in because something broke yesterday out of Ducks Unlimited. Of course, John is the Senior Communications Specialist. Is that pretty close?
Actually, Larry, I had a title change.
John has had a title. Is there a drum roll we can do right now? We have a title change. Is that why you're growing the beard so that it goes with the title?
No, I just tired of shaving.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
So, no, I'm the manager of media productions now.
Are you really?
I am.
Congratulations.
Oh, congratulations,
Well, thanks.
buddy.
I got your manager
of
media relations. Media productions, not relations. You don't do relations.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, excuse me then. Again, welcome John Gordon, the manager of media productions for our good friends at Memphis-based Ducks Unlimited. And before Ron zips us out on what he's got coming up there, let's break the news here, John, because something came out of DU yesterday, and we want to get that right on the air for all you good folks out there that listen to Outdoors with Larry Ray. What do we got there?
Yeah, it's big news from a Ducks Unlimited standpoint and for the city of Memphis, West Memphis, Arkansas, as well, something we've been working on for a couple of years.
Yes.
And just waiting on the funding. And so, as announced, the U.S. Department of Transportation has awarded $16,155,550 to the city of West Memphis to restore hundreds of acres of Mississippi River floodplain with wetlands and riparian forest at Ducks Unlimited Park at Big River Crossing. It's a 1,500-acre project led by Big River Park Conservancy and Ducks Unlimited. So
it's a big deal.
Yeah, big deal, right?
Yeah.
It's I think that there's a plan for a dog training facility
yes.
there. And several other things. So it was big news that the funding.
The funding came through. This has been something you've talked about,
right?
And we've mentioned, but now the funding is there. It didn't say exactly when they would have this completed. It just now got the money,
right?
But I'm sure the plans have been underway for doing it. But we wanted to get that out of the way, and we'll talk more about that with John as we go later in the show because we're going to end up the show up at Reelfoot Lake. And with Billy Blakley, and we can't help but talk not just fishing, but a little duck hunting up there with him. But Ron, you got a couple of special guests with us, and I'm excited about that. You're up there at Moore's Resort and Marina with our good friends at Cornfield Fishing Gear, the demo days, and of course it's always good to talk to those folks. And who you got lined up for us this morning?
Well, first of all, we've got the owner of Cornfield Fishing Gear, Mark Revel, on with us.
Yeah.
And I tell you, just wait until I get a chance to get back into Memphis and get Guy the video of his facility there of where they take a piece of metal and turn it into the products that they make. It's pretty unbelievable.
It's pretty unbelievable.
We did that, so you're going to see a lot of pictures and videos of things that are going on here at the demo days, and then following up, with the one and only from Duck Commander, Duck Dynasty, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
John Godwin.
We got John Godwin on coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got one of those brand new Sea Arc Flex boats with the Cornfield Fishing Gear mounts on them and everything else. Of course, you made mention of Billy Blakley too.
Yeah.
And Billy is up here with us also.
Well, we're gonna talk to Billy a little bit later about Reelfoot, but I knew he would be up there. But Ron has got this. Mark Riddle, the owner of Cornfield Fishing Gear, and I always look forward to talking to Mark, because quite a story. We know why it's Cornfield, even though he's not based in Illinois anymore, but that's where he grew up, and
that's right.
And got the name. And of course, John Godwin has been on this show. Always a hoot, but I looked up this Sea Arc Flex crappie boat, and wow, the boats have come a long way. They
really have.
From my aluminum day, and these guys have fitted what? They got sonar and everything, Ron, on these boats.
They have those high dollar graphs on them.
Yeah,
and high dollar mounts for those graphs. Trolling motors that you can almost just talk to and tell them what to do and everything else.
That's what you need, Ron. You need something you can talk to and do everything you want you to do. And of course, with John in the studio, we hadn't seen John in a while, and so glad to have him. And you would think this is a dead period at DU, but it's not. No.
There's no dead period.
There is no dead period at DU, because you guys right now, being in almost tax time. Well, I don't throw that out there for you folks out there, but it is open to turkey season. But for you guys, event planning time, stuff like that, and your video productions. How we want an update on them through the show today. Give us what's going on, and
got a lot of stuff still to come out. A lot of stuff in the works for next season. It's going to be big.
And speaking of video, I had a chance to watch the Fox and Mr. Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
The turkey show with the original Mr. Fox, Fox Hayes, talking about turkeys. That's a great video if you folks haven't had a chance to look at that. But turkey time is here. I'm not going to be able to go opening day. I'm sorry. I got a big car show that I'm helping put on at my church, but I hope to be out there next weekend. And, of course, Ron, we got to get it out of the way right now. I want to forget it, because we got to know we've had a lot of rain, wind going on, but now this is a unbelievable weekend in the 80s. Maybe we've turned the corner. So what's all this doing fishing wise?
Well, Larry, glad you asked, because I have to tell you, with all of this rain that we've had, the lakes are jumping up, whether it's a private lake, a subdivision lake, or one of those lakes on I-55. For example, Enid Lake in the last 2 days has gone up 6 feet.
6 feet. Okay.
That's right.
Wow.
And so all of those lakes the crappie have been biting really good, and they're going to continue to bite. And the way to catch them now, believe it or not,
what
is to get in your boat. Get to a bank.
Get to a bank? Yeah.
Get to a bank, get out of your boat, and wade in the flooded grass that is all around now.
Okay.
And the crappie will be about anywhere from 12 to 18, 24 inches deep at the most.
And wade.
Use a bright-colored jig, like a
what?
Chartreuse and orange, or black and chartreuse, crappie magnet, or a slab magnet will work real good.
Okay.
And you just
wade
tip
fish
it with a slab bite. They got to have something to smell, because the water's going to be very dirty, but the clearest water will be anywhere where there's flooded grass on your I-55 lakes.
How close can you?
Some big ones.
I don't want to interrupt because you get on a road, but how close can you get, Ron, doing that? I've seen people do that. I know these rods now go out 16 feet and things along that.
All right. Well, for instance, I'm using nothing more than a 10-foot rod.
10-foot rod. Okay.
That's all. And when you move, you know how you walk, you pick up your feet and you walk. Well, when you're wading, you want to glide. You want to just put 1 foot forward.
Oh, I can see
the
you
next
doing
foot
that.
Gliding forward. And there's 2 reasons why. One is it doesn't spook the fish.
Okay.
But more importantly, you don't step off in a hole and fall in.
Better have some good gear on too, right? I mean, for this. Okay.
I actually wear my PFD for that. The bass fishing,
Yeah.
it's kind of slow right now because of all the rise in water.
Yeah.
But you rise with the fish.
You rise.
Spinner baits and even buzz baits right now.
Okay.
On the I-55 lakes are good.
Yeah.
There, if you're going to Pickwick, they're eating Ned rigs.
Oh, Ned rigs.
On secondary points, 5 to 8 feet of water. Chatterbaits are working well.
I like that.
And also some Strike King 3 XD crankbaits in a citrus shad color will work real, real well.
Well, I tell you what, that's it. You can't get a better fishing report in 2 minutes than Ron Wong, particularly on the road at Kentucky Lake. And we're going to take our first break of the morning. John Gordon in studio, Shelby McCall trying to keep us straight. That's a hard job to do. And I'm wearing a special sweatshirt that I'll tell you about later. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And you folks do not know what it takes to do this a lot of times, right? Right, John Gordon?
That's true, Larry. That was it was interesting. You know, got to hear a lot of cool things happening in the background.
We know our man Ron Wong is the man of the man who gets these guests and helps us so much, and bless his heart. I mean, to be 104 years old, what he does right now. So
it's pretty amazing.
But no, Ron, we love you, brother, and I know that this gentleman that you've got coming on the show, he's already told me while you were trying to get back to the radio as we get going here, how much these folks appreciate what you do, Ron, and you'll never know. Because we didn't put any of that in there. But introduce this next guest, Ron. Take a breath and tell us.
All right. Yeah, listen, up at Moore's Resort on Kentucky Lake,
yes,
there's a special event going on today, and today is the last day.
Yep.
It's the Cornfield Fishing Gear Demo Days.
Yes.
And, gosh, it's been a lot of fun. And our next guest is the owner-founder of Cornfield Fishing Gear, Mark Revel.
Good
morning, Mark.
Good
morning. Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, Mark, and you got Ron under control up there as he represents Outdoors with Larry Ray, and appreciate you taking time on this Saturday morning to be with us. Mark, of course, has been on with us before. We can go through all the things. We already know. I've already asked somebody, well, how in the world is this name Cornfield? And we already know, if I'm not mistaken, Mark, you and Paula are from Illinois, right? So
yes, sir.
The cornfields, the cornfields, and so you got into this thing, and event like this. Then, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you break your leg sometime? I mean, you've been on.
Yeah, I think about the last time I talked to you.
You did. Yeah.
And a pair of shoes I don't want to talk about on concrete. Broke my leg. I lost the whole summer.
Ah, man. How we doing? How we doing now?
I'm doing good. Everything's good. Paula's good. We're good. We've been super busy. We're just so blessed. We got some of the greatest people in the crappie fishing industry around. We're here at Moore's. I think we got somewhere between 25 and 30 boats.
Wow. Okay.
We started on Thursday. It was a little rainy. Friday it got pretty nice. Saturday it's beautiful. People need to come out and check out what we got going on. What happened, Larry, is we get so many people that come to the shop and they just don't know exactly what they need.
Yes.
And we got so many options. They don't know what they need. So we'd be fitting them up out in the parking lot. And we just got this idea, well, let's just have an event.
Yeah.
And we'll have all of our pro staff guys come because everybody's boat is – we got, again, 25, 30 boats out here, all with our product on it, but there's not one that's rigged the same as another one.
That's right,
so
yeah.
A customer can come down here and walk down these covered docks and talk to anglers and look at their boat, look at their setup, see what we've got, and then we can go over. There's a pavilion over the hill. We can go over there and and Paul is set up with a team that
amazing.
We can fit your boat if you bring it with, and you can buy the product while you're right here.
All right, now Ron, you're visualizing this for us. Give us your visual interpretation of what Mark has just told about, because this has got to be a pretty cool event to be at, right, Ron?
It is a super cool event in the fact that there are so many different kinds of graphs today.
Yeah.
And they're all expensive electronics are what they are, all the way up to the 22-inch NBT screen for live scope. 22 inches. Now think about that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even. Old TVs weren't that big.
No, they weren't. No.
But Mark and his crew have come up with a mount for that that's so stable, and you can swivel it around so it doesn't get in your way when you're running the boat. And the guys are telling me that, golly, with that big screen up front and with the mount that Cornfield Fishing Gear's made for it, it is the perfect thing because you can see. It's very usable. You can tilt it different ways because of sunlight. But like Mark said, every boat from all the pro staff members that are here, and there's a bunch. I don't know that I can count that high.
Yeah.
But they have all got different kinds of mounts. And then they've got, like Mark said, the products in this pavilion. And then they can go ask these pros, why do you do this? Or how do you do that? Or how can I put it on my boat? And they're going to be able to solve a lot of problems for you and answer a lot of questions.
And, Mark, I realize, if I remember correctly, like 2018, the single mounts, you got double mounts. Talk about the evolution of this of your products, too, because you've expanded probably since the last time we talked to you.
Oh, yeah. I like to say we got a little bit of everything. We've made frameworks to go around the Garmin units that are made to be sunk in the dash of like a center console. We made a frame and put it on one of our swivel bases. We can put it on the front of the boat.
Yeah.
So you can put a 16, 17, 22, 24 Garmin on the front of your boat if that's what you want.
Wow, 24.
We're working on stuff for Lawrence now. Lawrence, a group with Lawrence come to us. They're needing something for theirs.
Uh-huh.
The NVT only had a gimbal mount, and we made a nice frame to put it in and put it on a swivel mount. And the thing with our swivel mount is if you get a little sun glare on it, you can swivel a little bit. If your trolling motor's in the way, you can swivel a little bit. Or the guys that are traveling can loosen the knob on the bottom and take the whole unit off and put it in their truck and lock it up.
Amazing.
Now we're working on going to consoles. So
are you really?
A whole new line of stuff with adjustable arms and everything on it. We're just now coming out with for the console on boats. And it's a safety issue, so we can put big units on to get them low and spread them wide so the operator can see where he's going. That's a whole new line that we're working on right now.
Everything made in the USA, right, Mark? I mean,
everything's made right here, just down the street from the Moores Resort here in Kentucky.
Yes.
I got a fine crew and a bunch of machinery, and we build it all ourselves and assemble it ourselves, box it, and ship it right here at Kentucky Lake.
Amazing. And Ron,
they're going to be our listeners are going to be able to see through videos that I've shot up here.
Yes.
Of how they make these products. I'm going to give you an example.
What?
It takes 1 minute and 45 to 50 seconds to make one of those big knob nuts, you want to call it, that you screw in to keep things from moving around.
Yeah.
And they take a small metal bar, round metal aluminum bar, and in 1 minute and 50 seconds they have a finished pretty product. It's amazing what they do. All American made.
Well,
and it's amazing.
And you do this, Mark, this event now. Is this, you say, third or fourth year? What is this now? How long have you been doing this?
This is the first year we've done
first
this.
Year.
This is the first time.
Yeah.
So we've had a heck of a turnout. It's unbelievable.
The concept was something that nobody's tried before. Were you kind of saying, well, I wonder how many will show up? How many boats will we have?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's wanting to know how many we're going to have and how many meals we're going to need and how many. I don't know.
Yeah.
My wife's like, are you stressed out? No, not really, because what are you going to do? We're going to learn from this one. We may try and do another one next year. So
what's this May stuff, man? You got 25 boats there. That's
right.
I think you've created something, Mark. I mean, when it comes to this, because I don't know anybody else that does something like this. I mean, this is
something new. Yes, sir.
It is something new, and that's a great. Tell us about Moore's Resort, Ron, because I've been there. That's a pretty cool place too, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it really
nice.
is. Mark,
tell
talk
about it,
that.
Ron. Ron's not been here for a lot of years. Tell him about it, Ron. What'd you think?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the improvements that they've made
since I've been there,
for the
I know.
boat storage,
yeah,
for the restaurant. The restaurant's amazing.
Okay.
But Mark, tell them all about some of the other things that they've done here, because you live about a half mile from here.
I live in the neighborhood. This is our neighborhood. We live right here, and they got 2 boat ramps you can use. They got, I think he's talking about having a food truck out here this summer for people. They rent pontoons.
Okay.
They got docks that people rent, but they got there's 40 some spaces on this covered dock that we're on. So if you want to come and rent a cabin or a room in the lodge, they got a place for your boat. You can plug it in. They got a really nice restaurant and a bar area. It's a real nice area on the north end of Kentucky Lake, not too far from the dam. It's in the middle of everything. It's close to get to, and really good people running it.
So now, is it on the Tennessee side or the Kentucky side? What are you?
It's on the Kentucky side. We're on Kentucky Lake.
Yeah. And folks, this I looked it up, and I've been there a long time ago, and it doesn't look anything like it did. It's obvious the improvements made. Well, I appreciate Mark. It took us a while to get you and Ron together there, but I think it was worthwhile. And tell our listeners, as Ron always tells me, what are you going to ask him right now, Ron? How to get what?
Hey, if somebody wants more information about those wonderful products from Cornfield Fishing Gear, where do they go, Mark?
Go to cornfieldfishinggear.com.
And it's pretty clear, folks. Just go to that. There's got some videos. I was pretty captivated by the videos and how you guys where you started. I mean, this is less than 10 years, right, Mark? I mean, this is pretty it's pretty amazing and what you guys have done. But we appreciate you being with us, Mark. And I think we got another guest coming up right after you. But keep up with my man, Ron, okay? Ron,
I will.
Do the best you can.
There's a reason why he's a legend, okay?
Right. Yes, tell me. I know.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Ron, give us a little tease on the next guest before we go out of here.
Hey, well, I got to tell you, you've seen him on TV. He is a movie star, a celebrity, but he's one heck of a great crappie fisherman with a great boat.
We're going to talk to John Godwin next on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on AM 790, 92.9 HD here in Memphis. And good morning to all you folks in Jackson, Tennessee on News Talk 101.5 and Brownsville, Tennessee on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM. And, of course, John Gordon, I know you're looking forward to this next guest, John, with you being part of the Ducks Unlimited family and loving waterfowl. Always like to talk waterfowl. I know that, but.
Well, a lot of fishing today, Larry, but we did have somebody at least that's a duck hunter.
That can do both of them, right?
That's
yeah.
Right.
So listen to this, guys, because Ron Wong is our man up at the Cornfield Fishing Gear Demo Days up at Moore's Resort and Marina on Kentucky Lake. So happy to talk to Mark Riddle, the owner of Cornfield Fishing Gear, earlier. And now, Ron, I think you've got one of the guests that we always like to talk to on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We've been on the air for almost 24 years, and this guy was is part of the Duck Commander family. The second man, I think he tells me, non-family that joined the team with Phil Robertson and all the guys there. And so we're going to talk to this guy a little bit about his background and his part with Duck Commander. But Ron, we got something else to talk to this guy about. Introduce this next guest for us.
Yeah, our next guest is he knows food very well, duck calls very well. He can put them together blindfolded. There's so many things that this man can do. And I got to tell you, it's a pleasure to have our friend John Godwin up now. And, John, it's so good to see you here at the Cornfield Fishing Gear demo days. And you've got your Flex boat out here with your Cornfield Fishing Gear mounts on there. Talk to our listeners about what all this is all about. Why you're here.
Talk about that boat, John.
Yeah, well, wow, what a introduction, Ron. I'll pay you after a while. And,
you don't have to pay much. A nickel will be fine. No, but
just give Ron a biscuit.
Always great. I mean, it's good to see all the pro staff together. We hadn't seen each other in a while, but I have my Sea Flex up here, the new Flex 21, which they're making a smaller version now too. The Flex 19 is soon going to be available. But this boat has a 94-inch wide deck in it.
Wow. Yeah.
Three people can sit side by side and fish out of it in the front. It is a crappie fishing machine.
Does it have a 60-gallon live well? Is that right?
60 gallons. 60. I can get in that thing. Look, it's got tubing in it, so when you put your ice in the ice chest, it's got tubing running through there and runs cool water in the live well. So in the summertime, you can keep your fish alive.
Amazing. Yeah,
it is amazing. And got sea deck in it.
Yeah,
it's got. I had to go buy stuff to fill up all the storage.
Well, that's what you want to do now. So tell me about. And it's got a 41-gallon fuel tank. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Air ride seats.
Amazing.
Air ride. Yes, you heard that correctly.
John, that's a long
air ride seats. Yeah.
Yes, that's a long way from the paper mill, John. I mean, I can imagine. What was your first boat, John?
My first. Wow. My wife, bless her heart.
Yeah.
Went to a rummage sale.
Oh, rummage sale.
On Saturday. And there was a woman there, and there was a boat and a trolling motor, a John boat, a 14-foot John boat with a trolling motor. And she said, "Is that boat for sale?" And this woman and her husband was not in agreement. They was having big problems.
Oh, my gosh.
She said, "Absolutely."
Oh, she said. And your wife bought it? I mean,
for $25.
$25.
A trolling motor and a John boat, and that's what I fished out of. I'd sit in the front, and the back end was sticking up out of the
water. So you know a thing about boats. So look at the correlation with where you started and what they have right now. Now that's been a few years ago, John.
It has, yeah.
There's been a few changes over your lifetime in that. And this boat, to you, what was your first thought when you saw it? I mean, it had to be. Is this for real? I mean, this.
Yeah. Well, I actually had a say in the design of it.
Good.
So me and some more of the Sea Art pro staff, they said we want to build a crappie boat, and we want everybody what everybody wants. If you had to do something to a boat, what would you do?
Wow.
So they took all our opinion to put it in there, and it's awesome. 15-degree hull, soft ride, takes rough water very well. It's got a 250 Suzuki on the back.
250 Suzuki.
She'll do 62 miles an hour.
With you in the boat or a light person in the boat?
Me?
Yeah.
Me.
With you in the boat.
Yes, sir. It will go. And them air ride seats, you just float across the water.
He's mentioned that 3 times, so I think them seats are important to John. You know what I mean?
My wife loves
They're important to all of us.
The wife loves you, too. And again, we're talking to our good friend John Gordon. John Godwin. And I know, John, 2002, you hooked up with the Duck Commander. That's a pretty good time ago, and we talked off the air a little bit about the movie The Blind, And you talked about that movie affected you emotionally like it did a lot of us. And before I let you, we've talked about boats, we talked about crappie fishing. I got to throw that in there. How did that movie affect you?
Well, to hear the stories, I'd heard all the stories.
Yes.
And to see it come to life on the big screen, those actors were actually very good.
Yeah.
It was very emotional for me to see that. It was just like, I don't know, it just hit home pretty hard. Because the Robertsons, golly, they are so compassionate now.
Yes, they are.
And they come from hard knocks. They really did. And to see the change was just amazing.
A long way through this process. You've been part of that process, John, and I know not only do you make those duck calls, as John Gordon will say over there from DU, and have had a part in that for so long, but this love of crappie fishing is another passion of yours, isn't it?
It is. And I growed up, went through the bass fishing phase and all that, and Daddy kept wanting me to go crappie fishing with him. I didn't want to catch it, that's too slow. I had to be rolling, And I finally went with him. He cooked some up, and I tasted that first one, and I said, okay, I get it.
The taste came first. The taste came first then. Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't throwing these back.
We ain't throwing these back. And what about being at this event you're at? Pretty cool with all those boats up there, I guess, isn't it, John?
It is pretty awesome to see how everybody's boat set up different. You can come out here and get in all the pro staff boats and see how we have our boats set up. Everybody's got some little thing different they do, to make it. And I've picked up some pointers too, but
really,
just to see how other people's got their stuff set up. And come on out and look at our boats, and we may pick something up from just you, coming out and say, well, I do like this. And
so
it's pretty neat.
And John, I want to also. For those of you, demo days is going on all day today. There's still time. It's early in the morning. It's still time to get out here and do it.
Yeah.
And just as a tease, I think there's going to be a hush puppy cooking contest later this afternoon.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Who's going to be entered in that? Ron Wong, are you going to be cooking your hush puppies?
Well, you guarantee you.
Oh my gosh! Okay, well, we just lost some viewers. They're heading to Kentucky Lake now. They just left us. So what's ahead for you, John, in 2024? What you got down the road going on?
Well, I do a lot of speaking events at churches and store openings, and I got a few more places to go and do and building duck calls, every day, trying to get that done. This is our busy season. The big box stores are fixing to be hitting us with orders, and just fishing as much as I can.
You still build them one at a time? You make them one at a time. Yeah.
Phil said, don't sell it till you'll hunt with it.
That's it, and that's what I've always enjoyed about you guys like that. Well, man, John, always good to talk to you on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Tell all of them hello from us up here in the big city of Memphis, and keep it going, buddy. It's keep sharing that faith, and we'll look forward to talking to you again down the road. And please take care of Mr. Wong up there. Okay,
he was talking about food, but if you want to know where to go eat, that's the man.
Oh, Ron, now John has figured you out, Ron. I mean,
he has.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
every time he's around us in town, I said, okay, where do we go?
And Ron will know it. Small towns, big towns, it makes no difference, right?
Yeah, so, and who to ask for to wait on you.
There you go, Ron. Ron even knows
He knows everybody.
He knows everybody. Well, John, thank you, buddy. Have a great day, and we'll talk again down the road. Ron, you hang on, okay, buddy?
Will do.
All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this April 13th, which for us in Tennessee is opening day of the turkey season. Do it, Shelby. Come on now. There she goes. All right, that's Shelby. That was not John Gordon, who's also sitting in the studio. Sounded pretty good, though, didn't it? It's better than you did.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
okay.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to try it. Shelby did.
I've been around some real gobblers in my life.
You have been.
Preston Pittman being one.
Well,
who can really do it.
Preston's one of our favorite hairstylists, too. He's a barber. You know, I think
yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
just like David Hale was a barber, or Harold.
Must be
Harold was.
something about cutting hair.
Anyway,
and
hey, we got another guest on the line with us, John Gordon, and of course Ron Wong is still with us from up at Moore's Resort and Marina on Kentucky Lake, where he's up there at the Cornfield Fishing Gear Demo Days. But Ron was also Outdoors with Larry Ray's man at the Bassmaster Classic. And, of course, we had a couple of champions up there, didn't we, Ron? I mean, we had the Classic champion, of course.
Right.
And then we had the Kayak champion. And we are really happy on Outdoors with Larry Ray to have the Yamaha Right Waters Bassmaster Kayak Series Championship winner. Boy, that was a title right there. I don't know if Drew Gregory can get that on the shirt or not, but it's good to have Drew Gregory with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good morning, Drew.
Well, morning, guys. I appreciate you guys having me. And tell you what, people do say that I would love turkey hunting, but I'm just too busy this time of year. You know, it's just too like tempting to be out there on the water when the bass start getting shallow. And as you can see, I had a real good time out there on Lake Tenkiller.
Well, I think Ron likes turkey season because he knows people are off the water any time of season like that. But, Drew, I know you've had a little bit, almost a month since the big event itself in Oklahoma and fishing in Tenkiller. And they do it a little bit different, folks, if you don't know a lot about kayak fishing. And we've been doing a lot of that, talking about it here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, because it's all about inches. And Drew came up with 10 bass, 180.5 inches to win this baby. So talk about that, Drew. Talk about the victory itself.
Sure. Well, I mean, and like you said, the beauty of kayak fishing is we go by inches. We get to catch the fish right there and release them right back. So, you know, even if it is bed season right now, they get to go right back on that bed and do what they're trying to do. But it's just a cool sport. It was an amazing win out there. You know, Lake Tenkiller is beautiful. I went. I'm known for fishing up rivers and creeks. That's what I love to do. Everyone's got their style. You know, whether you're an electronics guy, you're deep, clear water, or you like, shallow, muddy water. That's me. I'm more that shallow water fisherman, and don't prefer the electronics. Nothing against them. Nothing against them. Of course, got to make sure to clarify that these days. Yes. Nothing against it, and I love that other people love that style. But man, isn't it cool that a bass lives in all of the above kind of conditions, and we get to use our personalities and our styles to kind of like craft, our watercraft to catch them how we like to catch them. So that's what I did. I went up the river. I had a little motor that was, it's a Torpedo 1103, and it's a little 3 horsepower, which is
3 horsepower. Okay.
Yeah. The max that we're allowed to use on the kayak series. So I put that on there and trimmed it. And I was working, no different than somebody like a Keith Poche or someone who's got a little small, aluminum boat in the bass boat world who tries to just get it where they can maybe get into some spots that other people can't. And that strategy can still work in our world. So I went way up the river, caught some big largemouth. I got the big bass of the event for 22-inch largemouth and a 21.25-inch smallmouth, which was probably the second biggest bass of the event. But just pulled it off, and I got to some fish that other people really couldn't get to because they didn't have quite the setup that I had on that Crescent Kayak Shoalie.
That's what I wanted. I want to talk about that Crescent Kayak. Talk about that, the vessel that you were in. Yeah.
Oh, and it's awesome. It really is a cool boat. It's made for, being really good at rivers and creeks, and it's truly in the spirit of, the real definition of kayak. Let's face it, a lot of the boats that we fish out of these days, a lot of them are actually boats, not kayaks, but we call them kayaks because they're rotomolded out of that same material. But in the reality, they're boats. You can stand up in them. They're big and stable. But this Crescent Kayak Shoalie is actually lightweight. It's just a little over 70 pounds. You can still access places that you can't with, a bigger kayak or a boat, of course, so you can get to those unpressured fish, that's why I got into kayak fishing to begin with, was just to get away from the pressure of boats, big boats, and get into creeks and rivers and backwaters and places, which a lot of times it means you have to access it at places that don't have boat ramps.
And you grew up, now you live in Kent, Ohio, right? I mean, that's...
yeah, in Kent. Yeah, Kent, Ohio now. Yep, I grew up in the southeast, though, in Georgia. So
I thought you did. Yeah, you grew up down in here. So were you familiar with Tenkiller at all? Did you know the lake very much? Or?
I did not, but, I've been doing this for quite a while. And
you have.
Working in the industry and designing kayaks and traveling all over. And, of course, when I travel... I fished, wasn't turkey hunting. I was fishing.
Yeah.
I was able to learn. Nothing, really surprises me anymore just because I've been all over the country fishing from California to, everywhere. I mean, just east, west, north, south. So that's what's great for me is I'll go somewhere new like Tenkiller, which I'd never fished, and I can sort of figure it out and associate, it with a different place I'd been. And I'll tell you what, I'm 2-0 in Oklahoma. I've won a Bassmaster Kayak Series regular event, and on Grand Lake, and then I won here on Tenkiller. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll take everything in Oklahoma. I'm happy with it.
All right, we're talking to Drew Gregory. He is the Crescent Kayaks Director of Fishing. They win the Bassmaster Classic Kayak Championship in an event that. Was going on with the Bassmaster Classic, 164 competitors, 30 states, Canada. And I know, Drew, the sport itself, talk about that because you've been a forerunner of that, the booming in the kayak industry. You kind of alluded.
Growing fast.
You're growing fast, and you talked about Crescent and your connection there. Talk about what's appealing to folks to get into this business so much.
Well, it's really hard to find a downside. I mean, if you think about it, it's less expensive. You're not burning gas. Again, if that's for you, that's fine. But if you don't have the money for that, it's less expensive. It's a little bit, economy proof here.
Yes.
And it's also, you get exercise while you're out there. You don't have to use a motor, but you can. But you still get a little bit more exercise than you would, which is nice, of course. We all could use a little more exercise. But the main thing is, get you in these places that
you can't get with other places.
Can't get.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. So it's just really not a downside because you're catching more fish, you're catching bigger fish, and the entry fee for the tournaments are not. If you're going to, go the competitive route, which, some people obviously enjoy that part of it, like I do. So they're not that expensive to enter. So you're actually not, having to put up too much money, and you're not going to lose. So it's not a big risk, really. So it's pretty cool to see how it's grown and. The big brands and some non-endemic sponsors that are getting on board.
Yeah.
Bassmaster is doing an incredible job with their series, and I just started a brand new series that's hopefully going to be a good complement to the Bassmaster series. Yeah, it's called the Kayak Adventure Series presented by GoPro.
Okay.
And it's we hold 6 events, and it's a little bit more of that like intermediate level sort of family friendly. We got a big festival in the cities we're going to.
Great.
With bounce houses, food, music, and our awards are held in the cool historic theaters with those lights in the marquee. And you come in and you get food, drinks, and we watch videos and pictures of your fish that you caught. Hopefully some good GoPro footage that we all captured as the anglers are coming up getting their awards. And Toyota Trucks is a sponsor, and they're going to be there doing demos, and just it's going to be a good time for everybody. So
when does this start? Have you already started?
It starts May 3rd and 4th
Where?
in Georgia. It's the first event's called Shoaly-Palooza. So if you've never caught a shoal bass, you guys got to come to Georgia and do it. It's a bucket list fish, and I've caught a couple over 7 pounds, 24 inches. They get real big, and they're a lot of fun to catch.
What was the name of that again? What?
Shoaly-Palooza.
Shoaly-Palooza. How about that, Ron Wong? How about that, Ron? Is that on your bucket list?
I got to tell you, that's really awesome. And as fast as this part of bass fishing is growing, there's plenty of room for new competitions.
Well, I think it's a great deal, Drew, and I appreciate you letting us know. And I got to ask you also, I mean, you won $25,000. Okay, that's a good price. I think that's going to be doubled here in a few years. I really think that the sport is going to go to that. But the really thing I wanted to ask you, when I read about you winning and things along that line, they made you wait 24 hours before you knew you won the event. That's just the way it worked at the Classic. Yeah. So tell
That's
us,
right.
how do you what? I read where you didn't get much sleep the night before. So you had did you have any idea that you were close to winning, or did you know, or what?
Well, we do things a little differently in kayak. Obviously the catch and measure release, but another thing we do, we've got the live leaderboard, where we submit the fish live, so we see the results. However, to save a little suspense, they turn that leaderboard off an hour before our line's out time.
Okay.
So an hour is a long time. You can really catch right. A lot of fish or a couple big fish and make a difference in an hour. Or some anglers, me very, very often, actually do not have signal where we're fishing, so we're not uploading our fish live anyway. So you may not know if somebody haven't even submitted any fish.
So you had no idea that you won. I mean, I
had an inkling that had a good odds to win, but the problem is in tournaments we've seen this happen before.
Yeah.
Where everyone thinks it's this certain guy who was at the top of the leaderboard when it cut off, which I was by 3.5 inches. But we've seen it happen before where there's somebody in the corner not saying anything, and they know that they submitted their fish after the leaderboard had cut off, and they don't know per se if it's enough.
Yeah.
But they know there's a chance, and so we've seen people that thought they had it won, and everyone's congratulating them, and then they get on stage and they ended up getting second. So I didn't want to put it all. I didn't call the wife and say get on a plane to Oklahoma or anything like that. That's for sure. So
well, we just got a couple of minutes here, Drew Gregory. We appreciate it. Now, so if a lot of folks, I went on. Tell us how we can join your group, because I know you've got a lot of followers. I don't know how many you got on Facebook now, but it's a lot. So tell our listeners here in our area in the Mid-South how they can follow Drew Gregory.
I'm pretty easy to find. I'm Drew Gregory Fishing on most every platform out there, whether it's Instagram or Facebook and YouTube. And if you're interested in seeing me at the Kayak Adventure Series, it's just kayakadventureseries.com, and that's the same thing for Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to come in and get into the higher elite level of kayak bass fishing competitions, I'm telling you, the Bassmaster Kayak Series is a great way to start as well. If you're, you need to have a little experience. There's some pretty good sticks in that series, so you might want to, brush
up on your game. Drew, thank you very much for being on Outdoors with Larry Ray on this Saturday morning, and we wish you success, buddy. We'll keep up with you. We got your cell number now. We know where to find you. Okay, man? All right?
All right, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. Drew Gregory. Ron, we're going to take a break. You're going to cut out on us. John Gordon's going to help me introduce the next segment. Get ready, John. We're coming right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Good Saturday morning and welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray.
I love it.
Where we celebrate hunting, fishing, and everything in the outdoors.
Yes.
And here he is, folks.
Yes.
The happiest Arkansas basketball fan this side of Fayetteville, Larry Ray.
Oh, yes, John Gordon. I am wearing my Razorbacks hoodie right here.
Looks good.
Looks good. And, of course, we're going to talk to somebody from God's country right now. And I know he's probably been keeping up with it, too, because he used to live in Springdale, and so he knows a lot of things have happened in Fayetteville this week with John Calipari coming to Arkansas. I've watched all the press conferences. So I thought today I would wear my Razorback hoodie. And with Dave McCulley on here from Jenkins Motel and Trout Dock over in Arkansas, I thought it'd be fitting to talk to Dave while I'm wearing my Arkansas outfit. You don't mind, do you, Dave?
I don't mind at all.
I didn't think you do. What do you think about that, Dave? Are you a basketball fan or anything?
I am, and I think the Razorback fans are ready for a change.
I think they are. I think Kentucky was too. So it worked out really well.
It looked like a win-win for everybody, really.
I think it's a win-win for everybody, and I think it's going to put the enthusiasm back in. Well, enough of that. We want to talk to Dave. Of course, I met Dave back in February at the Memphis Boat Show. and he and his wife, they had a booth there with a area that I know a lot of Memphians are familiar with because they had been to Jenkins Trout Fishing and Motel there in Calico Rock, one of the beautiful spots on the White River where it all really starts as far as trout fishing. And I told Dave I'm going to try to hook up with him as much as I can. And I know, Dave, you're in such a beautiful location. This rain and stuff that we've had, how's things going fishing-wise over there in your area?
Well, the fishing's been good. With the rain, the river's gotten a little dingy. But, the good thing is we always got water running through, and it'll clear back up. But the brown trout bite has been amazing the last couple of weeks.
Whoa, okay.
Seeing some really nice brown trout caught. But the rainbows, rainbows are rainbows. You're going to catch them.
Yeah. Yeah. What about, what are they using? I mean, what have your guys been telling you? What's been best lures over there?
For the browns, we're seeing a lot of crankbait.
Oh, really?
Like Rapala countdowns.
Yeah.
Rainbow trout color. Even the brook trout color has been working really well. And then when the water's low and clear, we're throwing a lot of quarter-ounce Colorado spoons and nickel gold. And we're seeing a lot of nice bigger rainbows coming out of those too.
Well, it's just a beautiful. So tell our listeners that maybe not familiar with Calico Rock. I mean, really, that's where it starts. I mean, the trout fishing part. Talk about your location there, and for a visible vision of what it looks like to fish on the White River at your place.
Well, it's like you said before, God's country. This place is beautiful. We have some amazing bluffs.
That's
the river.
it. Yes, the amazing bluffs, because that sets you guys apart, really. I mean,
yes, sir. That's how we kind of got our name, was because the French traders used to call the bluffs here calico because of the color of them. They look like calico cloth.
Yeah.
That's how we got our name. But you got the amazing bluffs. The river's beautiful. We've got plenty of scenery with wildlife. It's not uncommon for us to see bald eagles. We got 3 nesting pair of eagles within easy float or fishing distance. Plenty of otters, wild herons, things like that. So it's just beautiful to spend a day out here.
Well, you're coming up from Little Rock on, what is that, Highway 5? What is that coming up through there? To Calico?
Highway 5.
Yes.
It's come up through Highway 5, and then you'll go through Mountain View, Arkansas, which is home of folk music.
How far from Mountain View are you?
We are about 25 miles, 30 minutes north of Mountain View on Highway 5.
Folks, I'm telling you, if you hadn't been to Mountain View for the music on the square, whatever it might be, and you want to trout fish at the same time, you got them covered, don't you, Dave? I mean,
oh, yes, sir.
And particularly on weekends, I'm imagining, because that Mountain View, that population, Jimmy Driftwood and all that, the music from there. And you guys have taken that place. Now, you've owned it for how long now?
3 years now.
3 years now. Transplanted from where? Springdale, wasn't that right? You guys in the military?
I grew up in Springdale, but did 22 years in the Army.
And your wife outranked you, as I remember, right? I mean,
yeah, she had data ranked on me. So.
And still does, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
When it comes down to it. So tell our listeners how to get in touch with you, because, folks, I recommend this place for y'all. If you're looking for some R&R and want to catch some fish, you got some guides, right? You got some folks that can put people on fish, don't you, Dave?
Oh, yes, sir. I've got some amazing guides. They know this river like the back of their hand, and they know what to do and what days and what conditions.
And the facilities you guys have got now, you've upgraded the motel. It's that place has been there forever. I don't know when it was first opened with Jenkins back in the old days. I've been there a long time ago. Got good places to eat. So tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Well, our website is JenkinsFishingandMotel.com. You can always reach us through there. Our phone number is for the dock is area code 870-297-8181. And our motel number is 297-8987. We also have a Facebook page. It's Jenkins Fishing and Motel on Facebook.
All right, Dave. Thank you, man, for being with us, and we hope to see you soon. Okay, man? All right?
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, Dave. All right. Dave McCulley of Jenkins Trout Fishing and Motel, beautiful Calico Rock, Arkansas. And, you kind of perked my interest there about turkeys gobbling near where you live. You got any openings down there?
And I saw a couple of flocks, Larry, in my backyard.
Flocks? I like that.
There were 15, 20 birds a couple of times last year in the fall.
Yeah.
And so the turkeys are right around that area. But you know how turkeys are. They move all over the place. So every morning I try to listen to see if anything's happening.
And your season, the Mississippi season starts way too early.
Oh, it's way early, man.
They ought to have two seasons. They ought to be North Mississippi for one.
They should, yeah.
And South Mississippi. We've always talked about that for years, and I've heard people say what kind of turkey season is in South Mississippi, and then I say, well, I've froze to death on a lot of early turkey hunts in North Mississippi. But I've heard great reports, folks, from the youth hunt last weekend with in Tennessee. Over 1,000 turkeys were killed by youth last weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're out there, and my gosh, it's supposed to be 80 today or tomorrow. And so we were 60s on Thursday and Friday. And now the gobbling has started, but I guess it's never too late to tell me what's going on at DU. I mean,
man, Larry, what isn't going on at DU? It just that time of year, we've got events going on all across the country. Banquets that are just really providing some tremendous fundraising for wetlands conservation. On my personal note, we just finalized some of the segments for DU TV. The new season starts in July. Going to be exciting.
I was wondering, July is when it starts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it'll run 13 episodes, so it starts first week of July.
Okay.
It runs all the way through toward the end of September. And we start out with a great teal hunt in Texas. We've got 3 different locations in Canada that are going to kick off the season too. That are unbelievable.
Will those come out every month, or how do you do that?
It's every week. So
every week for 13 weeks.
It's on the Sportsman Channel, so you get a new episode every week, and all the way up to, like I say,
and they're 30 minutes.
30 minutes, right?
30 minutes, so there'll be 13 straight weeks, and you run them back, I'm assuming.
Right, and then they start running them over again from that point.
And then DU TV.
Well, that is DU TV, and DU Nation is my pet project, really, with on YouTube.
Yes,
we've got a great turkey hunting video out right now with our friends from Halo Outdoors, Henry and Lakeisha Woodard.
Okay,
from near Ashland, Mississippi, last year.
Okay,
we hunted, and that's really cool.
That's
People
DU
want to check
Nation.
that out on DU Nation on YouTube.
Okay,
we've got new content coming out on that we filmed over the last fall. It'll be coming out, just about every week. So
do you work?
Pretty exciting.
So you've done all those shows for this coming July. They're completed.
They're completed, right?
And so then you will start.
We start right back around in September filming for DU TV again. Once again, it's 13 shows. So
have you already? Do you look ahead and already think of some things for next year?
I've already got. Let's see. I've already got 8 shows planned, so I got a few more to finish.
You've already got them planned?
Yeah, all locations, people involved, and everything are already lined out. You have to do it early. It's hard to do, but you have no idea what the weather's going to be like. Oh, and these are ducks and geese, right?
Yeah,
you have no idea what the migration is going to be or anything. So
you
just have to cross your fingers, and good Lord willing, it works out, and it has worked out for me more times than not.
Let's cross our fingers that we have a season next year.
Boy, it was a little slim down here this past year.
What do you mean slim?
Man,
slim. It was a tiny wasteland.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we filmed a lot of stuff up north,
and everybody thinks DU's fault.
Although we had a pretty nice episode with the great folks, great sponsors, Drake Outdoors.
Yes,
over in Arkansas. It was that was right at the first part of January.
You hit it right.
It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't terrible either, and we got some great footage out of that deal.
If everybody thinks that Bill Dance catches fish on every cast and all these shows,
don't.
Why does he do so many shows? Because he's got to.
Got to.
It's not necessarily the finished 30 minutes, but it's also the 6 hours or whatever it may take to put that together. But they can go to DU, ducks.org.
Right. And I tell you where the place where our YouTube channel now has really got some great
good
content
stuff
on
the
it.
YouTube.
All the DU TV shows from last year are up at this point. Like I said, we got DU Nation content coming out.
So if you're in depression, ducks are over.
Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube and live it.
DU Nation, check it out.
All right, we're going to take another break. Man, it's time to wrap this baby up, and we're going to talk to Billy Blakley. What a guy to talk to wrap up a show with. I hope we get him, but we'll find out. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 24th year on the air. And you folks know me, and we call this the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio program. John Gordon, you agree with that, don't you?
I agree with it, Larry. Man,
it looks like we just sat down. But we're going to close out the show with one of my favorite places to go. Maybe the favorite. I'm not going to, just blow smoke here, but if I want to go to Reelfoot Lake, I know where I'm going. I'm going to Blue Bank Resort. I've been going there since Henry Reynolds was back in those days, and so it's still one of my go-to spots. And I know when I go to Blue Bank Resort, I'm going to be treated royalty. I'm going to get some of the best food, and I'm also fortunate enough to take my wife so she can catch some fish, provided she fishes with a guy laughing right now, okay?
Yeah.
That's right.
So we got the dynamic duo, Batman and Robin. I'm not going to say which one's Batman and which one's Robin, but we got Drew Hayes, whose family owns the resort, filling in the gap from his late dad, Mike, who we all missed, Drew. And then, of course, you heard the man himself, Billy Blakley. I can always say I went in the Hall of Fame with Billy Blakley.
That's right.
I don't have to mention Michael Waddell. I just went in the Hall of Fame with Billy Blakley, not Boyd Duckett, all them other. No, me and Billy went in together, and
that's right.
It's good to have you guys on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Let's talk first with you, Billy, a little bit about spring fishing on Reelfoot. We've had a lot of crazy weather. You guys have too. Talk
Yes,
about what's it look like for April and May?
Well, actually, it's looking pretty good. Which back earlier in the week, we got some rain, a little bit of cool weather, and then it's warming back up. So what that's going to do to them crappies, put them crappie up in spawning mode. They're going to be on top of these stuff, male crappie. They're going to start moving up on the cypress trees and the grass and the lily pads. I mean, they're really running for shallow water right now.
Well, I've seen them on the video, Billy. You're the most videoed man I think I know. I mean, you're everywhere on the videos, and I know, Drew, you guys have taken advantage of social media. How important is social media to Blue Bank Resort, Drew?
Well, actually, now it's probably how we get about 50% of our business now.
That's amazing. So you've taken this thing, you made Billy a star. You know, there's no script, right? Y'all don't rehearse anything, do you?
No.
Not normally.
No.
Billy's done it for a long time. He doesn't have to anymore.
He doesn't have to do it on there. So talk about what's going on at the resort, the food, all these different kind of things, and tell us a little bit about that, Drew.
So, yeah, I don't think we've been on since we started that new menu back in November.
No, you haven't. That's what I want. Yeah, tell them about it.
So we've added a bunch of new things, hitting that hot trend of pimento cheese. We got one with, like, some hot honey on it. It's real good.
Ooh.
During the spring, we're actually doing one with a bone-in strip or some deviled eggs for an appetizer.
Yes. And you guys are open all the time. Tell us about hours now. What do we all?
11 to 9 every day. We also do a free continental breakfast for our guests.
And you guys have expanded so much, and I'm going to make it I think we're coming back, Billy and Drew. I think Tennessee Outdoor Riders want to do some more. I'm hoping that works out for the fall, Drew.
I've already got it marked down. They emailed me the other day. I think you're already looking at some guides, aren't you?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're coming. So the lake itself, though, Billy, I know you're up at where Ron Wong is. Bless your heart. Keep an eye out for him. Okay, Ron's he's loose up there and everything. So,
yeah, it's not good.
So talk about a fishing trip with Billy or any of the other guys up there. What can they expect?
Well, all you got to do when you get a guy there at Blue Bank is just go by the front desk, let them know you're there. They'll put you in touch with me, and I'll show you who you're going with. Walk out the back door, get in that guy's boat, bring you something to drink and snack on, and we've got everything else in the boat.
That's what it is, folks. And I know this weekend we got some 80-degree weather, Drew, finally.
Yes, I'm ready for it.
You're ready for it because you guys have a wonderful facility. So talk about the facility itself. Talk about what you offer at Blue Bank.
Well, one of the biggest things, we've actually added more tables to the outside patio, so that'll be perfect for that 80-degree weather.
Yes.
We got some kayaks that we're doing now. I know a lot of people are starting to fish out of those even more than they used to.
Yeah. And so you got rooms for how many? What's the motel situation?
Oh, well, I got one of the cabins can sleep over 15 people.
15 people, and you now got the cabins over the water. You got that.
Mm-hmm.
But and Billy, you guys have noted you've been doing this a long time. What makes Reelfoot special, Billy?
Man, it's just like stepping back in time. Everybody forgets about tomorrow. Once you get on that lake, looking at the wildlife, catching fish, riding across, just looking at the cypress trees and the lily pads and all of that, you just forget about everything else.
Yeah. Well, you also think about U.S. Marshals and Tommy Jones coming out of one of them creeks in there. I think I do. I keep thinking that's going to happen up there. You know, people don't know that that's where that thing was filmed. But at the same time, Billy, we got John Gordon from DU here. What kind of season did you have up there last year? Duck season.
Well, everybody far and wide had a start on a bad season. Then we finally get a cold spell there towards the last 15, 18 days of it, and that turned the whole season around.
It did, didn't it? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And now, are you booking already for next year, folks?
Yes, sir. We're booking for duck season.
And that time is right now. So you have people come from everywhere, don't you, Billy? I mean, that
yes,
hunt.
Sir. I get them from. I've got some that fly in from Russia to even hunt.
Now, wait, say that again. Now,
we've got one group that comes in from Russia to hunt with us.
From Russia, you know
yes,
you know where that is, don't you, Billy? I mean, that's
yeah, I think so. It's way over yonder.
It's way over yonder. I can't imagine Billy in a boat with some Russians. That just blows my mind. Drew, we got to video that next time, okay? I mean,
they'll probably be okay with it. I'm pretty sure I can get them to do it.
Well, you don't know what they're saying, and they don't know what Billy's saying either. So I mean, it works out to the best. Russians with guns with Billy. Oh, Lee. Okay.
That's a fact.
All right, Drew. We're gonna let you guys know. Tell us how we can get in touch with you guys.
All right, you can check us out on bluebankresort.com or call us at 731-538-2112. We also got Facebook that you can check us out for Blue Bank Resort.
All right, buddy. That's where I go. That's where I hope to be next month. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. Try to be good, Billy, okay?
Yes, sir, Larry. We'll see you when you get
here. I don't know if
here.
we can do that one.
Oh, now you've ruined it now. Bye. See y'all. All right. Billy Blakley, Drew Hayes. Okay, it's fun to go to Reelfoot. You know, the Eagles.
It is.
All that different kind of stuff. There's great places to eat up there, and that's one of my favorite places. I can remember the first time I duck hunted up there. I stayed in a motel with one light bulb. You know it, and I thought this is Bates Motel. You know, I thought that.
well, Billy talked about it being going back in time, and that's what I feel like. Yeah, Reelfoot.
Well, because
nothing's changed there.
The earthquake created it.
Yeah.
You know, all those folks in New York worried about a 4.5 earthquake in New York. 1811 and 1812, Reelfoot was created. And the duck situation, they've been duck hunting up there since then, I guess.
Well, you're right. I mean, well, of course.
Have you shot a place? Have you done a video from that up at Reelfoot? Have you ever done one?
You know, I've never filmed up there. I wrote a couple of magazine articles.
I know you have, but you wrote one for me. But
but I've never done a film crew up there, and I really should.
Yeah, because you think about the tradition and stuff along that line that I don't know. When you pull on State Highway 78, you head into Tiptonville.
Yeah.
And the old ferry used to go across the Mississippi River, and there's so much history in that county.
We were talking about
and the earthquake, but now the tornado. a couple of years ago.
Man, that was scary there.
I mean, there's still gaps up there from the tornado.
Right.
But those are resilient people.
Yeah, talking about DUTV, there's a great episode. The late great Wade Bourne did
really?
from Real Foot. Yeah.
Is that on?
Years ago.
I can watch that?
It's at ducks.org, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Man, I miss him. He was
He was awesome.
He was awesome.
We did do a film on the DU Films series based on Wade.
Based
we
on
did,
Wade,
and we went to Real Foot.
Yeah.
And drove around with Jackie Wayne.
Jackie Wayne Van Cleve. Yeah. And I've been in the boat with Jackie Wayne before. Yeah. Been in the boat with a lot of them up there, but pitching in that. But so, folks, go to ducks.org. Click on that. There's so many. And right here in Memphis, I said this many times with John, so many people drive by that facility and just see the flag and don't know what that is back in there. And, of course, I was there with the first shovel with Billy Donovan and all the gang.
Chuck Smith.
Yeah, Chuck Smith and all those guys. And coming down from Chicago, they all wore big, long black coats because it was cold up in Chicago.
Cold in Chicago.
Cold in Chicago. Let me tell you about next week's show. I'm pretty excited about that because our guest will include internationally known carp angler John Torchick. That's right. We're going to talk carp on next week's show. We're not talking Asian carp or silver-headed, big-head carp. We're talking about carp, okay? And we're also going to talk to Molly Nugent and her ties to former Olympian Judy Adams, who helped her overcome target panic. And not only has Molly overcome target panic, she's qualified for the USA World Cup team for the first time in Shanghai, China, coming up in April 23rd through the 29th. Right here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, we'll be talking to those guests and then many more. Of course, Frank Barton will be in as a co-host. Shelby, we're out of here, Shelby. Thank you for your help, as you always do. And this is a special time. Fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio run. Thank you, John, for being with us.
Larry.
As we always say, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else, John?
God
bless the USA.